Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Ivan. Ivan is from London and he's a portrait photographer. So let's see what Ivan has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Hello.
Hi Ivan, how are you?
I'm pretty good, you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. Right, just before we start the game, tell me where you're from.
I'm from London.
Okay, and tell me something, what do you do for a living?
I'm a portrait photographer.
Amazing. And what's the most fascinating thing about your job, in your opinion? The most interesting thing about your job?
The people that I get to work with. So I work with a different person every day. I get to spend an hour, 2 hours or more in a room with a person and get to know them and talk to them, find out a bit about their lives. And yeah, it's always a different person, a different story every day. Kind of cool.
It's amazing. And how long have you been doing this business for?
Well, I've been a photographer all my life. I've been doing it full time now for just 3 years. But I've been doing it I did it as a sideline for many years before that, about 10 years, I think. Okay,
that's cool. Right, Ivan. So welcome to William the Magic Box. So I've got this lovely box here full of random fun questions. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to play a music just for us to get in the mood before the first question. Ready?
Sure. Okay.
Hope you like it. All right, ready for the first question?
I'm ready.
Let's get it done. What's your parents did or do that comforts you the most?
So I think the fact that they've always supported me, they've always basically encouraged me to do whatever I want. Not without some caveats, but yeah, I guess knowing that that's my fallback position, I've always got my family to rely on, my parents to rely on. Especially this year, you know, in times of the lockdown and all the uncertainty for business and everything, I know that the worst case scenario is I end up sleeping on the sofa at my mum and dad's house. It's not that bad.
I think it's a plus, isn't it? When you know that your parents are there, they support you all the way through. I think it's a big plus. I think you feel safe.
Absolutely.
And stronger. Absolutely. Right, let's get another question, Ivan. Let's do it. Right. Just before the next question, in your opinion, what's the best and the worst of living in London?
The best and the worst of living, well, the worst probably, I mean, it's one of the most expensive places in the world to live. You know, what we pay for just staying alive, rent, bills, food, it's crazy. But the best is that there's pretty much everything here, like anything you want to do, any kind of job, any kind of social circle that you want to be in, it's all here. You know, everyone comes here from all over the world, and it's hugely multicultural and hugely multifaceted. You can find pretty much anything you want here.
Okay.
Oh, but the weather sucks. Sorry.
Yeah, it can be fun. It can sometimes. Actually, it's funny you say that. I've been living in London I'm from Brazil originally, and I've been living in London that's 14 years, and I was living in Portugal before. Although weather for me that would never be an issue. I know people complain a lot about the weather. It's always like a topic, you know, the weather is this and that. But personally, it never be a.
It doesn't bother you. Well, I mean, yeah. If you can find a way for it not to bother you, then it's fine. And I lived in Italy for a long time. I lived in India for a while, so I'm used to places that have got more, should we say, more predictable weather than London.
Right.
And it makes life simpler because you kind of just know what the weather's going to be like. But yeah, you know, it's a small trade-off, I think, for the opportunities that London gives you. It's fine.
Cool. Next question is, what do you most like about yourself?
Oh, wow. How do I answer that without sounding hugely conceited? I like that now in my mid-40s, I've sort of found out what it is that I want to do with my life, and I've got stubbornness or drive or motivation to focus on that and get on with it. So yeah, it can be a disadvantage as well, but I can be quite sort of single-minded and focus on one thing and really just push everything towards that. And that's been very useful for me in my business.
Great. I think you know what you like, you know what you want for life. That's just a part of being confident and just accepting
Sure.
it. Yeah, cool.
Absolutely.
Right, let's get another question, Ivan, from London. Let's do it.
Okay.
When I was, just before the next question, when I was checking profiles online, when I'm inviting people away, and when I saw your profile and I saw the portraits, I was like, oh my God, you know the National Trust guy?
Yeah.
So I've been a member for the last 3 years, and when I go to those places, I just end up always in the portraits, like what the portrait, always end up there. And when I go to the museum, when I go to Tate Modern, and always those portraits, I just can spend hours and hours and hours. Look at them, like how amazing, beautiful they are. And you always like that, like photography, always being focused on the portraits, or are you kind of for?
I think like most photographers, I spent a long time trying to work out what aspect of photography interested me the most, and it's very easy in photography as well to get sort of sidetracked and go down the route of being very geeky and getting into the technical side of things, which is useful. I mean, you have to know your technicals, but it can become a distraction. But if you pull back from that and you just think about what's interesting to us as humans, and as humans, the most interesting thing in the world is other humans. So portrait photography really is the sort of coming together of those two things. I love playing with the technical side of things, the way I use light, the way I use post-production, but ultimately I want to, if I'm going to look at a picture for a long time, it's probably going to be a picture of a person. So making pictures of people is the most interesting thing to me. And like you say, it's the same for me. If I go into a gallery and there's landscapes, there's abstracts, there's all of these things which are very interesting, but the thing that holds my attention the most is going to be a human face.
I'll tell you something now. I can't wait to get very successful in life, to get all my plays around for portraits of my my best friend, myself, my mom. I can't wait. I can't wait to
do it.
Yeah, I'll go back to you in the future. Okay, be ready. Okay, I'll be
yeah.
in the future.
I'm looking forward to it.
Right. Next question is: what do you miss the most about your childhood, and why?
Oh, I'm not really somebody who's given to sort of thinking about like regrets or things that I miss from the past. But I suppose, when as a child you have fewer responsibilities and fewer things that can sort of slow you down with worry and anxiety and those kind of things. So that would seem to be an answer. But when I think about it, I think I was pretty good at being worried and anxious as a child anyway. So maybe that's not the most truthful answer. I mean, I miss not having to think about things so much. As a kid, you've got a bit more, or a lot more, freedom to just, I want to play with my Lego now. I'm going to go play with my Lego,
Yeah.
I do try to live my life like that as an adult, but obviously,
totally,
you have to go out and, pay the electricity bill and buy the toilet paper. So you've got more responsibilities. Yeah.
I think what I miss the most about my childhood is I remember, like, for my birthday. Actually, today my birthday, by the way. Today is my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
Thank you very much. It is funny because I remember my birthday. It took like so long to arrive. My Christmas as well. It took so long. I was waiting for a whole year. Now it's like one day is Christmas, like another month, and not Christmas again. It's just like crazy how time just flies. That's what I miss the most. There's not worrying. There's like always gonna be,
Mm-hmm.
Shall we go for another question?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, next question is, Ivan. Are you a cat or a dog person? And if you could choose to be an animal, which animal would be?
So I would say I'm definitely a cat person. As a kid, we always had cats and not dogs, and it's an age-old argument, but I like the fact that cats have got some independence. I like the fact that time, if a cat lets you spend time with it, then that sort of means something. Whereas a dog will spend time with anyone, you know. That's not to say I dislike dogs, but yeah, if I were choosing a pet, it would definitely be a cat, not a dog. If I could be any animal, I've always had a fascination with monkeys and apes. I don't know why. I kind of like the idea of being an orangutan. I just think they're really cool animals.
Right. Cool. Let's get another question. I enjoyed the show so far, but
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah?
Keep going.
cool. Let's do another one. Before the next question, what would be your advice for, like, let's say, a photographer who's starting out a career? What would be your best advice to this person?
Best advice would be work out what you want to do and let that be the guide in all of your decisions. So it's about not getting distracted, you know. If you're clear on what you really want to do, what really gives you satisfaction, then it becomes a lot easier to make all of the day-to-day decisions that come up. It doesn't make it easy, but it makes it easier. And the only way really to do that is to try a lot of different things and be honest with how it makes you feel, what level of satisfaction you get. Some people do this for money, some people do it for the success of a business, some people do it for the art, some people do it for the enjoyment of, if you're a wedding photographer and you just like being at weddings, then great, be a wedding photographer, but be honest about what it is that's driving you, and once you know that, you can pretty much work everything out, I think.
Cool. Right. Next question is, what do you think are the best traits for a person to have?
Oh, the best traits for a person to have would probably be some degree of humility, but a sense of self, a sense of what they're about, a sense of what their purpose is. It's easier for others to relate to you if you know what you're about, and that means that you're generally going to have more positive interactions with other people, and that's like a positive feedback loop, right? The more positive interactions you have with other people, the better your friendships, the better your relationships, the more productive your life, and it just leads to more positive things for you and the people around you. So I think it comes back to that idea of purpose again, and knowing what you're about.
Ooh, good answer. Let's go for another question. Let's do it. Okay, next question is, what makes you the saddest?
It can be anything really. I don't think it's possible to escape sadness, to have a life without sadness.
It's part of it. Part of the.
Yeah. It's part of it. It's how you handle it that's important. But what makes me the saddest? I guess when I realized that I've done something that I'm not proud of, that I got it wrong, that I did something for the wrong reasons, let myself down. Those are the things that weigh on me the most. But I mean, it could be just, getting up in the morning and seeing that the weather's crappy and I'd planned to go out for a walk. That can be pretty depressing as well. But yeah, the real things are, having done the wrong thing for the wrong reason is probably the thing that weighs on me the most.
Cool. Let's get another question, Ivan. Let's do
Sure.
it. Great. Next question is, tell us something that you have done that you feel very proud of yourself.
I think setting up my own business and running a successful business and working out all of the stuff that goes along with that, and this year in particular, managing to keep that going through a really challenging time, but not. The thing that I'm proudest about in that regard, I think, is not actually ever having any doubt about that. Once I decided to do it, like, okay, that's it, I'm in 100%, and I've been unwavering in that since I started. So that's something of an achievement, I think.
Right. I've got 3 questions left for you, Ivan. Let's
okay.
Okay, next question is, what is the one food you could eat for the rest of your life?
Well, I'm a big fan of chocolate. I'm a big fan of coffee. I'm a big fan of red wine. I eat pretty much everything. It's going to be chocolate. I mean,
yeah,
it's probably the best food in the world. Yeah.
Any particular one, like dark or what?
Definitely dark chocolate. But I think the great thing about it is trying different dark chocolate from different countries, different producers, and the variety and the differences between, you know, different manufacturers, different processes, different beans, all of those kind of things. I like trying, tasting new things.
Right, Ivan, I've got 2 questions left for you.
Okay.
Okay. Before the next question, when you were in India, did you worry for work, like work as a photographer when you're there?
I wasn't working as a photographer, no. I was there for work. My previous career, I worked for a big multinational media company. I was there very definitely for work. I was working like 24 hours a day. Yeah.
Did you manage to make some photographies, at least?
I did, yeah. I mean, it was during that year that I spent in India that I really kind of consolidated my love of photography and decided that actually that's what I'm going to do for a living. Okay. It took me some time to get from there to where I am now, but it was the realization that photography was something that gave me, I know, a satisfaction. It was a creative thing. I wasn't just taking snapshots of me in front of, you know, landmarks and stuff. I was doing creative work, and so yeah, I have my time in India to thank for that, setting me on that direction.
I saw one of your portraits, like this Indian woman, like standing with the blue. Oh my God, it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful one. Right. What makes you most uncomfortable about yourself?
Oh Christ! Any number of things. I deal with people's perception of themselves on a daily basis, right? As a portrait photographer, people come in and no matter what they think of themselves, seeing themselves come up on the screen, there's always some element of our physical appearance that we dislike, and that's true for everyone, like no matter how good looking or beautiful or successful or rich or whatever they are. So I'm no different to any other human. You know, some days I look in the mirror and I think, Christ, I've let myself go. I'm getting old. My hairline's receded. I've got all this grey in my beard. But really, I think the thing that makes me most uncomfortable is that I let myself fall into that, even though I know that that's a trap. And I spend most of my day, every day, helping other people get through that. And yet, with all that knowledge and all that experience of helping other people, I still fall into it myself. But sometimes that just makes me laugh. It's like, well, it's proof that I'm a human being, I suppose. So yeah,
actually, me as
no real worries.
No, it's true. Sometimes when I find myself in that negative thoughts, I start laughing one point. And my God, how am I able to get to this point? Sometimes, like to put yourself in these little evils come along and just like in your head.
Yeah, it's about perspective, isn't it? Like when you're talking to somebody else, you can see it from a different perspective. So it's easy to hear somebody else's problems and help them, guide them, give them advice. But when it's yourself, it feels like everything's on top of you.
You forget all the theory, you forget everything.
Yes.
You find yourself the same, even sometimes in the worst moods as well.
Exactly.
Right, Ivan, I've got the last question for you.
Okay.
Let's do it. Right. Before the next question, how long does it take for you to finish the whole portrait when you start to make the whole job itself?
It depends very much, yeah. So, I mean, on average, when a client comes in, we'll spend a couple of hours, and then maybe I'll spend half an hour on post-production. But it can be 5 minutes, it can be 5 hours. It depends on what we're doing, what the reason for it is. You know, I don't really think of it in terms of how long it takes. I don't charge by the hour. I don't think that the time spent on something necessarily adds or detracts from the value of the final piece. You know, when you see a portrait hanging in a gallery, it doesn't matter to you whether it took 5 minutes or 5 years. I mean, it can be interesting to find out the story of a portrait if it's, you know, if it took 15 years to complete, but it doesn't make it any more valuable or any more interesting. That's just stuff that you want to find out once you're already attracted to it, once you're already interested in the picture. Finding out the backstory might be something that you're interested in doing. So yeah, I don't really keep a track on that, other than, you know, obviously it has to fit into my work day, and I have to have time to eat and sleep and have some semblance of a social life. But other than that, 5 minutes, 5 hours, it's all the same to me. I just want to make a good picture. That's the only thing. And 2 weeks after you've done it, you forget. You know, all that's left is the picture, and that's the only bit that counts. And it doesn't matter if it was a great experience, a horrible experience, if it was torturous and took ages, or if it was very quick and simple. All that matters is, did you get the picture?
Last question. If you won the lottery, what would be your first big splurge?
What would be my first big splurge? I would buy a place to live. I would buy a property that was big enough for me to live and work in. I'd buy this place if I could afford it. I mean, where I am now, is that a lack of imagination? I don't know. I think what I'm probably saying, if we dig into it on the psychological level, is I would buy some security. I would buy some certainty that I've got a place to be, and that's not going to be taken away from me, and that's something set in stone.
Cool. Game. I'm going to give away some words, and you just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Right. Let's start with family.
Baseline. Security.
Money.
Yes, please.
Love.
Is everything.
Cool. Life.
Finite.
Sex.
Right now.
Politics.
Oh, politics, a nightmare.
Religion.
None.
Fear.
Death.
Okay. Friendship.
Hugely important.
Desire.
That just makes me think of a U2 song.
Okay. Regret.
I have none. None.
Cool. Wish.
For success.
Last one. Portrait.
Person.
Great. Okay, let's pretend now I'm going to have a cup of tea with your best friend, and I'm going to ask your best friend, tell me the most beautiful thing about Ivan, and tell me something that he needs to improve on. What do you think he'll tell me?
So probably something about my humor. Yeah, people that know me well, I think, find me generally humorous. Maybe not funny, but humorous. I'll see the funny side of most things. Things that I need to work on, probably communication. I have a tendency to go quiet if I'm not in a good mood, and not not share things, but yeah, hopefully not to a problematic degree, but probably.
I'm the same as well, actually. Sometimes my best friend, they go like, why are you not talking? Is something wrong? They start asking questions, you know, like to wonder things. When I go too quiet.
Yeah.
Right, Ivan, it's not the end yet. Let's play now. Ivan and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. You can ask me a question now, Ivan.
So what's the best and worst piece of advice you've ever received?
Wow, very good question. Wow. The best piece of advice actually is an easy one, because I left Brazil when I was 19 years old. I was very young, on my own, very adventurous always been. And one of the best advice was, I remember I was there for like 3 weeks in Portugal, and I was working in a restaurant, a Brazilian Portuguese restaurant. And there were some Brazilian people working there, they were living there like for the last 10 years. I was the youngest one. I was like very young, and all of them, they were like 40s and everything. I was 19. And one day I was like feeling, I didn't realize that, but I was standing in the restaurant before we started the shift. And this lovely Brazilian guy, he had kids, he was living there like for more than 10, 15 years. And he came up to me and said, William, I can see you are here alone. I can see, you know, and actually I didn't realize I was in that mood. And he said to me, give a chance to yourself. I know you just arrived, you've been here for 3 weeks, you know, you're very, very young. Brazil is going to be there all the time. If something goes wrong, you're always going to be there. Brazil is going to be there, you can come back anytime there. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, he's totally right. Brazil is going to be all the time over there. If things go wrong, I can come back anytime to Brazil. Yeah. So one of the best advice I have received. And the worst one, once I was after someone, and one of my best friends just told me, yes, go there, everything's gonna be right, just try your best. But and I went there, everything went wrong. The person didn't like everything, so it didn't go the right way I wanted, but it was worth the try. But yeah, it was advice, and I went like full of energy. I said, yes, I'm gonna go there, everything's gonna be right, and everything went wrong. So yeah, that's your question. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, absolutely, it's been fun. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for being so kind. I know you're a very busy man. Thanks so much for taking your time to spend the experience with me. I just started out my YouTube channel now. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Fantastic. Thanks very much.
All the best. Enjoy your day. Thanks so much.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.